Hello and welcome back, and today we are going to be going over any small red ant and improving the puppet. Why do we need to improve the puppet? Well, if you've been with me very long, you know I'm still learning all this. I'm learning a lot of it on the internet, most of it through experimentation, and recently I've learned that I've made some serious mistakes in the construction of my puppets. And I discovered there was an issue with the way I was designing the characters. When I was doing the head turns and the head tilts, I was utilizing this tool here, which is the Rotate Layer XY, which is a little bit confusing and misrepresentative, because when you use this feature, what it does, it allows you to rotate your character on the XY plane but into the Z plane. And that's what I failed to realize when I started using it. So I can rotate the symbol ant character here so that we can look at it from the side, which, you know, because it's paper thin, it would just be nothing there. But we can rotate the character, and that's what I was doing for rotating the head. I was using this tool to rotate the head in degrees, in portions, and that introduced a distortion when using the 2D character with 3D features in a 2D environment. It's a little hard to explain, so let me just show you. So here is my any small red ant character. We can use this to create 8 octillion different ants. But I designed this character a year ago, and since then I've come up with a better way of doing the hands, and recently I've learned the problem with the head. So what is the problem? Well, if you move the character too far outside of the camera view, or even within the camera view, and then you start manipulating that 3D function, you get extreme distortion. So look at the head completely disconnecting from the neck. The antennae are no longer going anywhere they're supposed to be. And if we turn the head the other way, it does complete flip. And all this has to do with because I introduced 3D functionality into a 2D character, basically, because all of his other features are 2D. So as you can see here in the camera view, I can do things with the head, and it's not distorting as much. It is distorting. There's a slight distortion, but as I pick the character up with that, let's go into a animation frame here, so that I can actually employ these features. So we rotate the head, and we pick up the character, and we move him across the screen. And as you can see, as I move him across the screen, he is distorting because of the 3D addition. And there you get a complete, utter just disconnect of the character. So, I did not know that when I designed the character. As I designed the character, I tried to keep it in the center of our camera view. And so it was only recently I decided, okay, I've got the character, I'll go make him dance. And I was going to do a little dance video, and started doing that. And as I moved the character across the stage, just like this, we got that distortion, and it goes up and down as well, as you can see. So I need to correct that on this any small ant character. I've already done that on the symbol ant character. As you can see, it really, because of the way I did it, it doesn't really affect how the character looks. So I can turn the head now on symbol ant. This is our main character. And I can tilt the head up and down, And you can see I can also move the character outside of the range. Well, I played with this, so we need to reset that. But I can now move the character anywhere in my scene and the distortion doesn't happen. So let's go into the animation frame 1, and we'll go in here and we'll turn the character's head, then we'll pick it up and we move it across the screen, and there's no distortion. It retains the same look even outside of the camera view. So now we get way over here. Oops. And again, there is no distortion of the character's face now because I've already gone in and corrected it. So now, besides that, what other things I've been doing with this character to try to improve the puppet was the hands. I was not really happy with the way these hands were working. So again, the ease of use during animation is what really matters to me. So when we would get down here and we'd want to go in and pose the hand, we'd have to pose it, but as you can see, the lever that moves the finger moves with the finger. So it makes it really difficult to get it just right. And so you can do it by using Alt, of course. You can hold Alt and set one bone at a time, and only that bone will move. So we can do it that way, and that's basically how I was dealing with the fact that my design was not optimal. Okay, and this also, all we have here is the ability to reverse the hand into the palm. So we're really not able to do a whole lot with interlacing of the fingers or, crossing fingers. I mean, we can cross one over the other, but we can't cross the other back. So the little finger would always be behind the middle finger, would always be behind the forefinger. Unless during animation, we come over into the character and start moving things around here. But we don't want to have to do that. Once we get to the point to animate the character, all we want to do is when we bring that character up is work with the tools for that character, and that they be easy to use and very convenient. And also reversing the hand this way, as you can see, the bones are not reversing, which that also made it very difficult to then manipulate these fingers. It can be done, it's just not the optimum way of doing things. So I have redesigned the hands, and I've redesigned the head turn and the head tilt. So the head tilting forward and back. I've also used the rotate XY, layer XY in that feature, which distorts the character when we move it around in the scene. You know, and especially the way I found out was I shrank the character down. And it's when you shrink the character down and then start using those features that it really starts to distort. So you can see there I've shrank the character, and well, we need to be in the animation layer here. But you can see the distortion gets extreme because he shrank. It exaggerates how much it distorts. So that's how I found out that my character's head was going all weird every time I took him across my stage. So this should be the same size here as it is here. His arms and legs stay the same. So it's just the fact that I used this tool during the design. So let's take a look at Cymbalant, as he's the way I'm going to go this time. And I'll do the new one the way I did him. Whoops. Let's get rid of all animation here. So here on Cymbalant, you can look at my hands and you can see they start sideways, and we can rotate them, and we've got segmented fingers, so there's actually two parts to each finger instead of just one joint. There's two. And then this is the bone that stretches the finger, and as you can see, it stays in place automatically with the palm of the hand. So I can stretch fingers without having to go in and move the finger as well while I'm trying to stretch it. And then I redid the thumb, of course. As you can see, it looks much more like a thumb, and it comes into the palm of the hand just like that, which works very well. And we can rotate the hand down, the palm and the thumb still works here, and all the fingers still work. Although they're now reversed, pointing the other direction, they are still now the other way for the hand. So you can hold your hand upside down or hold your hand up the right way. And if we wanted to change things for what the fingers are doing, for instance, crossing fingers, say we wanted the middle finger over top, well, I put that into this as well, so we can move all the finger combinations are possible. So even the thumb, getting the thumb in there, you can put any finger group over any other finger group. And then of course the back of the hand, you can see the back or the palm of the hand. So this is a much more versatile hand, much easier to manipulate during animation, much easier to get exactly what you want out of the look of it, you know. So you want to have the finger pointing out like that, the pinky finger, he's picking up a cup of tea or something. You could actually put the cup of tea in his hand and put the finger and thumb like this, holding the cup. And so now he's being very fancy about holding his cup. In fact, this finger should be folded in like that, maybe a little more, like there. That would be better. And I've also put an object in the hands. So this is this is the left arm, sorry. And inside of his hand, there is an object that we can make show. So we can show the object in hand. So now the fingers fold around the object in whatever manner we want. I can put the fingers like this and like this and fold them over on top of the object. So that one's backward. That I need is like that. And so now we can fold, let me see. There we go. And fold the fingers over the object in hand, including the thumb. Now, say we wanted to show it with the, interlacing between the fingers, we can do that in any manner we wish. Here's the first position, and some of these you can't tell there's much of a change, but there is a change. You can see the fingers are overlapping each other differently right through there. Now we've got the object sticking out on top of the little finger. Now we've got it on top of the middle finger. Now we've got it on top of the forefinger. And there's only one place that's on top of the thumb, and that's here. But here's each of the different possible combinations of which finger is on top of the object in hand. And then we go further and finish it off, and then eventually we get to flipping the hand around so that we're looking at the palm, and these fingers are still flipping. If we were to bring them out here where you can see them overlapping each other like that. So now you can see they're still flipping outside on the back side. So we can still twiddle a baton in the fingers is the point. And so that is what you can do. And of course the object in hand can be replaced with anything. So you draw your object, you come in, you paste it in to object and remove the little stick, and you've got an object in hand that the character can manipulate. So as you can see, I did turn it on the other hand as well. So we're going to turn that off. And instead of recreating all of this, I am simply going to try to import the hand into the other character. So that also means I need to redo all the bones for the hand and the other character. So any small red ant, first of all, I'm going to fix his head. So we're going to eliminate all this animation. And we're going to go back to the construction layer, and we're going to resize him back to normal. Alright, so everything is normal. Our view is reset. There we go. And we want to make sure that this is also reset to 0. There we go. So now, Moho does a great job of making elements work together and calculating the changes that are needed between one extreme and another. And so when I did the head tilt there, this made making those extremes look proper very easily. Now I need to do that without using that feature, so I have to redo the entire head on these head turns. I need to do that on this character. So I'm going to go into the head tilt and the head turn. So here's the head up and down. And there you can see what it looks like down. And then I've got different stages of it going through, changing the antennae and everything. So we're going to get rid of all of these actions. But before I do, I want to make sure I can recreate what I've already got. So I'm going to go into the construction layer and the main line, and I'm going to go to the animation frame 1, and then I'm going to tilt the head all the way up, and then I'm going to render that character. Then we're going to save it as a PNG, and here's where I'm working on my every red ant. And so we're going to, this is going to be just the head up and down. So we'll take out this and we'll go head up. And we're going to go back. We're going to tilt the head down and render that. Now if I was an artist, I would be able to do all of this without having to capture it. So that was head up, so this one's going to be head down. Can't seem to type. So now we got the head down, and we're going to now go back, and we reset that bone. We want it to be at 0. We can move it and eventually get it to 0, but it's best if we come up into the tool here and reset it so that we're sure it's exactly where it's supposed to be. So now we've got the head turn left and right to do. So we're going to go in and turn the head to the character's left and then render that, Control R. And then we save that as head left. And we close this, and then we go to head right. And again, we render. Then we save. And head right. Let's just click that and then change left to right. Alright, so now we've got our head turns. So we can actually go into our control, our actions here. So here's our head up and down, and we're just going to delete everything that has to do with this action, which means we have to go into the parts that we affected. So like the skull is definitely one of them. As you can see, we're just going to take out everything here. We don't want any of the original actions left behind. And we can tell what is done by looking here. So I've reset the bones for the antennae. I've now reset the skull, so we need to reset the eyes and the mouth. And I believe I did that under the header of head. So here we go. We just boom. Now we're back to no action on head up and down. And so we're just going to double check. We're going to run along our timeline. Make sure that nothing in the puppet is changing. So we've eliminated the up and down distortion that this was doing. And I could probably just remove that distortion and work from there. But I'm going to go ahead and just do the whole thing. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to remove all the activity that affects the head. And you can see we didn't do the skull yet. So we go into the skull and remove all that actions. And look at the antennas. So looks like, okay, so I've changed the order of the antennas here. So we'll just eliminate that. Okay. And then there's bones that are being moved. So we get rid of all the bone movements with this bone's movement. So those antennae were being moved by bone. They're now completely restored. And let's run along our timeline. And nothing is changing. So we have removed our head tilt and head turn. Okay, completely. So now what we're going to do, we're going to eliminate any animations in the line, go to the construction layer, and we're going to go in and recreate those actions. But before we can do it, we've got to bring in those images of it so that we can use those. And we need those to be within the character. So we're going to come right here where our Funum wheel is, and we're going to go right below that. And then we're going to import an image. So we come here and go image. And we're going to go, let's do head tilt down. All right. So there's our head tilt down character. And we need it to be exactly where it was when we took its image. So as you can see here, I can bring it down. And it's a little bit smaller at this point than it was. But all I got to do is match this camera outline and it should be just right. So just like that. And if you want to be exact, you can zoom in here and put this like that. And then go to the opposite corner and correct that. And then double check that you've got both corners in the right place. This one moved out a little bit too far, so we'll bring that back in. And this one can go out just a hair more. So now, there is our character with his head tilted down in the manner we want to see it at its final down tilt. So before we go any further, we're going to make it transparent, just 50% opacity. So now we can see both our character and our color image. And we want to go to display and make sure we fade unselected layers. And that means that only the character that's been captured, the image, and whatever we're currently working on will be color. The rest will be in gray. So it makes it easy to spot exactly what you're working on. Okay, so if I go to the head, now I'm on the head. If I go to the antenna, I'm on the antenna, and so forth. So now we've got our character perfectly lined up where he should be, or close. Let's see if we can get a little closer. I see his fingers pointing now. Oh, I'm moving the wrong thing. Hold on. Let's go to this. And right about there. It looks like he's a little big, so right there should do it. So now I need to make the head do that down tilt on my down tilt action. So we go to the head up and down, right here. And as you can see right now, there are no actions in that particular action. There's no activity. So we're going to go into it. And of course, just like when we're creating these to begin with, first thing we want to do is bring the control bone all the way to the minimal position, then jump to 64 and move it all the way up. So because I grabbed held tilt, we're going to drop back down to 1, and now we're going to make the head look like the head in the transparency. So let's start with the bones because we're here already. So we're going to zoom in and we're going to bring these antennae down until they're overlapping, just like the old one. All right, like that. Now you can see as the antenna come forward, they're going to get longer towards us. So we need to make these longer here. I don't want to move it. Control Z is your friend for that. And make it right there. Then we're going to extend the, extend these a little bit. And then extend these even more, because this is the closest part to us. And there we go. It doesn't have to be identical to what was before. In fact, it's probably going to be very hard to try to match identical. But there we go. So now we've got the antennae down where they belong, although they do need to be in front of the skull, but we'll deal with that later. And so speaking of skull, let's jump to the skull here. And we simply need to distort it to match what we've got. So we can grab these points here, hit T, and then drag them down a bit. So now our chin tip is matching. But as you can see, it has gotten wider. So we're going to hold Alt and just drag slightly to the side until both sides intersect the edge of the head there. Alright, now we can go up here and grab, G to grab. We're going to grab the top 3 points. There's one in the center and one on each side of the eye. And hit T to grab those as a group. Then holding Shift, I'm going to drag that down until that point in the tip matches my silhouette. So there we go. So the silhouette is grayed out as well. So now we check our lines and it looks to me like that's a good position for the skull. So now we need to bring each of the eyes down. So let's go into the head. And before I just distorted the head. And I could possibly do that again. But let's see. We grab the layer and bring it down and then squash it. And let's shoot for overlapping the eyeballs. And again, because it is no longer actually distorting it into the Z-plane, we're not going to be able to match it exactly. But as you can see, it does get a little wider. So hold Alt and make it wider so that it, as it comes closer to us, it gets larger. And just like that. So as you can see, we're still not quite identical to what we had before, but I believe it'll be functional. So now we go back to 32 and we simply reset everything here that we just did. And then we do the same thing with the skull. But its reset happens in the object construction area. So we reset that there. And we didn't have the bottom selected, so select all of it and reset. So now we're back to our static view. we can now turn off the head down view, and we can test everything by going to any small red end and see if his head tilts down. So we got to go back to the main line, and then we select bone manipulation, and the head comes down, but the antenna are not. And I think it's just because we need to be in the animation layer. And nope, the antenna are not coming down. So I must have missed that somehow. Let's go back in. So head up and down, and turn that back on. Oh, well. Oh, it's because I didn't reset them. That's all. So at 32, I need to grab those bones. So B for bone, and I'm just going to grab these two here, and then I'm going to reset them. That's all I forgot. There we go. So now, when we go back to the main line, and we tilt the head, as you can see the antenna came down, and they go up. So there's our head coming down and tilting. Is it identical? No. Is it close? Yeah. Is it close enough? Yeah. So there we go. So now we need to go in and bring in the head up. So let's turn this one off and import the next image. So that's head right, here's head up. We need to again stretch the image to match our actual puppet. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to go to the center and then hold Alt and stretch it outward. And I'm just going to match the upper and lower lines. Alright. So now we go into the character, we go into the actions, we're going to go back into head up and down, we're going to move to the head up position, and now we're going, oh, I forgot to make this transparent, let's do that, up to 50%. So now we need to make the skull look like that. So the thing is in between it tilts up a bit, we'll do that by hand. So first thing is to take care of any bone action. So we can see where the antenna need to go. So we're going to grab the transform bone tool and drag it down until we're overlapping, but not quite, because again, we're going back, it's going to shrink, so we're going to shrink this down, we're going to shrink this down, and we're going to shrink this down. And we can shrink this one down too. They're all shrink again. There we go. Then we do the same thing over here. And let's grab those and shrink one of them so we get to the right size, and then B for bone, and that gets tilted a little bit. This one here. Oh, I need to transform the bone, and there we go. So now, let me do the other one over that way. So I'm going to grab all of these and just reset them. And then resize using this one. And then bring it down. That works better. So now we need to go into the skull. And we're going to make the skull match. Again, we're going to grab these lower points, hit T, and just shift and bring them up till the chin matches. Then we're going to grab the points that don't match, which are these outer two here. Hit T and hold Alt and drag them to the side till we're intersecting the face on both sides. Then we're going to go up to the head and grab the top three. Hit T and we're going to bring that down like that. And using Alt, I'm just going to bring it out or in just a bit. That's right, bringing it in because we're going backwards. And looks like I need to correct this jowl here. So we're going to grab these 3 points, hit T, and bring them on over here. And that should complete our effect that we had before for everything except for the eyes and mouth. So again, we're going to grab head, grab the entire layer, and see if we can shrink it up and align the eyes. Always align the eyes if you're trying to do this. That's what you're looking to make proper more than anything else. People will look at the character's eye. Now I'm looking at the mouth there. Let's use Alt and just bring it slightly wider. And there's the full head tilt back. We bring it up and forward and down. So as you can see, the eyes should not be just tilting on their centers here. So I think at 48, we want to just grab the 2 eyes and bring them up just a bit, not much. So go up and then they come back down at 64. So here we bring them back down. Right there. So if we go back out to the main line now, and we turn off our image of our head, and we go to the bone layer, and we grab the bone, and I changed a bit, so I think I forgot to reset something. There's our down tilt and our back tilt. So what did I not change? The eyes. I did not return the eyes or the antenna to their neutral state. So we go back in to head up and down. We go to 32. We grab all these bones at the top of the head, which are the antenna, and they all get reset. And then the same for the head. We did mess with the head, so we want to make sure we reset everything on it. And I think that's it. So now we go back out to the main line. We go to the puppet name, and we go between this tool and this tool. The eyes are still moving, and the antenna seem to be going behind the head. So let's see here. Oh, I did do some distortion on the eyes, I forgot. So let's just grab both eyes, go to 32, and reset. There it is. So now it's reset at 32. That allows us to move it in other actions. Let's check this out. I'm going to go in here to our animation layer. We're going to tilt our head back, and we're going to tilt our head forward. And at this point, the antenna should be coming forward. So I need to fix that. Okay. So the antennae changing position happens here. You can see antenna before and antenna behind. So we're turning one on and turning the other off, basically. Well, they're both staying on. We're turning the one before off. And remember, I did delete that. So we want to be on from here, from 32 back. So it should be visible and 100%. And then here it's visible and 100%. But why are we not seeing them? Let's see, the skull's there. There's the antennas behind. The antenna before are not showing. So somewhere I have turned those off, and I don't know where. Let's see here. It had to be in the head up and down. Here's they're turned off. There it is. No, that's showing there. But they're showing not active. Okay, so it's showing up while I'm on it. This bone here. Yeah, I think that bone needs to just go away. So let's see here. Yeah, see, this was my head, my compensation for the tilting was causing an issue with the antenna. But I think we got rid of that, so we can get rid of this bone altogether. I'm just going to delete that bone and that action. So, antenna, let's see, right here. Pretty sure that was it. So now, when we go into the head up and down, when it's down, the antenna in front should be visible. This way, it's visible. I got it. Got it. Alright, this was a switch. I was using this as a switch, switching back and forth between different antennae layout. So, what I need to do is simply remove these antennas from that group and then get rid of this. And then the same thing up here. Take this out. Get rid of this. So, antenna before and antenna behind should now be both on all the time. Let's see here. So no, they're not. We're not seeing the antenna in front, and it looks like the antenna have changed because of everything I'm doing here, but that's all right. We got to fix it. So we're gonna grab these antennas. Let's see here. Let's turn these off for the moment. Those are the ones in front, and these are the ones in back. Now let's try the ones in front. No, they're still not coming on. They show visible. Apply. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's remove this antenna here and this antenna here. So we've only got these two left. They're not in the right place, so we're going to fix that now. Just grab all of these, hit T, and put them where they belong. Same with the other ones. We're going to grab, and T, and right like that. And then of course we're going to test them to make sure they're properly functional. So we go to this tool, and yes, our antennae are doing as they should. So working well. Alright, so now we go back to our head up and down. So what we can do here is we can enable depth sort, and that allow me to just move the antenna where I need them. So when the head is tilted down, we want the antenna to be showing in front of the skull. Where'd they go? They went all the way up there. But that's fine. That is fine. Then at 32, or 33, let's go to 33. Then at that point, they would drop behind the skull. And they would stay there through the rest of the action to be behind the skull and then in front of the skull. So that's another thing I had learned, and since I created this character originally. So there we go. We've got our head up and down, antenna are working, and the face is working. Let's go here. And always double test everything. Alright. So I think I'll do the same thing with the bottom legs, because I'm obviously not doing them. I'm doing them the way I tried to do the antenna here. But we're going to test that now. So, oh, we need to be in the animation layer. And there they are. They're in front. And now they're behind. There we go. I think when they come down like that, it doesn't look right. So do this. We're going to grab these antennae and we're going to just move them away from each other a little bit. And then with 32, they should reset. So now let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks better because they're separating. And then as it goes back, they should get closer together because they're going off in the distance. I've grabbed those antennas and I'm going to reset them. So that's where they were originally. The head is back. They will shrink some. And then they will move individually. Well, they'll move together naturally. So B for bone, and grab both, and then T, and we're going to drag them down. But then we want to grab them individually and move them towards each other. So now there's back. As it comes forward, they separate, and as it comes forward more, I think maybe they're going too close together in the back. Yeah, I think we've just gone it overdone it. Let's bring this up and back out a bit, and this up and back out again. So now, that works. So now the head looks like it's tilting back and tilting forward. And I think we're done with the head forward and back. We're in the animation layer. So there we go. Alright, so now we're ready to do the head left and right. So we need to go in here and be in the construction layer and import head left and head right images. So there's head left, and head right. And we can grab them both and use the tool to make sure we're getting the character the right size on both of them at the same time. So it's easier and quicker. Probably should have done that for all four of them at once. There we go. That is very close. Yeah, that's it. So there's our character. We've got our left and right view of the head, so we're going to turn one of them off, and we're going to go to the bone layer. We're going to go to the action for head left and right. We're going to make our image transparent. Anywhere around 50 is good. So now we can see exactly how we should make the head look when it's turned. So let's start with the antennas. So we can see that one of them has moved back and over. So I think we'll just move this one to here and match its look. Obviously these have shrank going into the background. Whoops. Wrong thing there. Try to get the right button. There we go. Shrink that up. Shrink that up. Let's stretch that one a little bit. Then we do the other one, comes over here. This rotates like that, and because it's coming towards us, it gets a little bigger. And voila. So now, if we go back to 32, and then reset all those bones. So we grab B for bone. We're going to grab these and then reset them. Now it should automatically calculate the turn of the head to there. Look at that. That's beautiful. Alright, so now we go down here and we need to make the skull. So we're going to go down here to the skull. And we need to make that match. So this time we're just going to do one point at a time. So I'm going to grab a point and bring it over to where I need it. So this should be about right there. This one's got to come up to here, that one to there. Match it as close as we possibly can. So if you're not an artist, like I'm not, and you need to do this stuff, design the character with the XY layer distortion to get what it looks like, and then capture that image and recreate it using the points. This one moves way up. That. This one. It looks like I'm going to have just these curves here. Just like that. That looks a little bit sharp. So not like that. There we go. So now we got the skull turn. So let's go to the I don't think we can do it as the whole skull, as the whole head. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. No, the eyes are going to be way too wrong sizes. So let's not do it by the complete head. We have to do the mouth and each eye by itself. So we'll do the mouth first. We'll bring that over here. Matches what we've got there. And we take the right eye and we're going to scrunch it up and we get it just the right shape. We can see that it comes down, so I'm going to hold Alt and shrink it down, which brings the bottom up as well. And like that pretty much, but it looks like it also got a little bit turn distortion, but not the whole lot, so we'll just leave it where it was. Let's again just match the pupil, let the rest of it fall where it has to. Now we're going to go to the left eye, scrunch it up the same way, and put the pupil, and then as you can see we need to enlarge the side. So hold Alt, bring it out like that, and pupil about the right place. And just a slight tilt. So there's the eyes and mouth. So now we can go back to 32, and we need to reset those. So I'm just going to hit reset, reset, reset. Grab the other eye, hit reset, reset, reset. And then the mouth, just reset it as well. And then we can turn off our turned head. And we've got a distortion in the skull because we did some curve changes. So we got to go back to the skull. We're just going to select all of it, use T, select all the points, and we're going to reset all of those. And we're going to reset the curvature. And voila, now our face is able to rotate the same way it used to, but actually it's a superior way of doing it. So I was just doing it the way I did because I'm not an artist. And now that I've got the right way it looks, I can take care of it. So now we're going to do the turn to the right, or the character's left. So we turn on the head left view, and we need to make it transparent. And we simply repeat the process. So we're going to go up to the ant. First thing we're going to do is do the antennae. And this person is here. This is in. We done solve. Get to the finish. Got this movie. We're direction in. Are you ready to do this? I'll keep one. Here we go. Force select. Here. And the curve here. Do your mouse. Press there. Check. Here. Oh, make it over. It's in it. Exactly. Now you got. Right. So in here. And here. Alright, and we go to the bone layer and we manipulate bones. Head tilt works. Now we need to be in the animation layer in order to see it tilt and come in front for the antennae, or go behind. So there we go. And then tilt or turning left and right. What did I do? Head left, right. I forgot to turn the bone to the minimal position and then to the maximum position. So now we go to the main line and we can turn that. So that works. So there's the new head turn for our any small red ant. So this is symbol ant's relatives. We could call it Simrel. And we want to make sure that all of these bones still function fully as they did before, so that as we change the character, we can still turn the head, we can still tilt the head. So, very good. Alright, so now we need to do the hands. But first I'm going to save this as, and give it a new number because we've made some major changes. So that will do it for part 1, and please come back to watch part 2 of Improving the Puppet, where I will rebuild these hands to make them much more friendly and easy to manipulate during animation. Thanks for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that you adore. Watch for the things that cause alarm, watch for the one that would do you harm. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that you adore. Please be alert and be aware of all the dangers anywhere. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that you adore. Stand your ground and speak out loud, let the world know harm's all around. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger,